Good, welcome back to the most interesting part, because now we have our base setup of the donut in here, and from now on we set everything up so Houdini is doing all of the work for us. How are we going to do this? I want to set up one parameter to drive all kinds of variations. So in order to do this, let's come to the top, or yeah, we can even put it somewhere here. I will create a null node and call this controller. With Z, I can give it a different kind of shape, and with the C shortcut, we can give it a different kind of color as well. So all of my controller nulls I like to style like this, and underneath this little cogwheel down up here we can say edit parameter interface. These two parameters we can make invisible, and what we need from over here is basically an integer that we pull over here, and we call this seed. What it allows us is it creates a slider for us with the range from 0 to how many different kind of variations you want, and hit apply and accept. And now we have our own little custom control up here. And with this one, we can drive a lot of different parameters now in our setup in here. So first of all, let's do a right click and say copy parameter. And let's go through which nodes we would like to influence with that. For sure, the mountain node, which basically is the first node that brings in variation into our donut. So in order to distort it differently, we come inside the node, and here under the offset, we will just say paste relative reference. And what you can see now here, Houdini puts in the path to our control null and to the seed slider. And if I click it again, you see the same number that we have inside here is now referenced up here. And what this allows us is whatever we put in here, our base shape of the donut will be adjusted accordingly. Okay, that's our first step. Second, the color. Yeah, maybe we can adjust a bit the height of this slider here. So if we open up this thing and we adjust it, you can see that we're basically between position of 0.3 and 0.6. So let's put also our relative reference in here, but in here we need to treat it a bit differently. And I will put in a little expression here. Bear with me, I tried to do my best to explain it, and this kind of expression we will use all over again and again. So what we want to do, because right now we have 265 as a seed, and this slider just goes from 0 to 1. So we need to bring this into a 0 to 1 range, and easily can be done with a random. And we open a bracket, and then we need to set it in a bracket again. But this just generates a random number between 0 and 1. But this can lead to the thing jumping out of the range, and we always want it to be between those little other sliders. So we click on it again, and we want to fit it, and we can use the fit 0, 1, because we already know, due to the random expression here, that the number inside those brackets will be always between 0 and 1. So we can rely on the 0 and 1 here. We say whatever comes out here, we want to map it between 0.3 and 0.6. And we close it. And there we go. And I just did a little mistake because I put it into this slider here. I will say delete channels, put this to somewhere around here. And this is the slider that we're interested in. Delete like this. So here we go. Just copied it. And now whatever we put in our seed, our height of the color will also change. Okay, cool. This is number 2, and I will make sure that I will paste you this kind of expression down in the video description. Okay, and let's color all our nodes that we adjust with a seed, so we can go in later and change stuff. Our noise for our glazing, for sure I want to put this. So also here in the offset I say paste relative reference. It's all fine, I guess. This noise, the top faces. Yeah, let's adjust the top faces. Now we want to map this angle. So I have still in the clipboard this kind of expression. I said we use it over and over. We had 71, so let's go from 60 to 80. And we always get a slight variation in here. If it's around, but is it changing if I put to 100? Yeah, 82. Okay, cool. That will give us more variation. So let's highlight this. We have the combining, the scatter doesn't change too much because it's quite evenly. We will get the remesh up here, but a lot of change can be done inside the sprinkles. So the sprinkle area is fine for the top, to be honest, but the amounts we can change. First of all, the global seed will get the paste relative reference, and we can also set up different kind of amounts. So we can say we have less sprinkles, maybe 500, or let's say even 200, and we can have a lot of sprinkles with, let's say, 2000. And now anything in between will happen. So now it's always randomly picked in between those numbers. The same stuff could be for the relax iterations. Maybe we say we want to map it between 0 and maybe 4. So this can result in a bit more even distribution or a completely clustering of things, and just also helps to break up this kind of sprinkle behavior. Let's make this green as well. Our scatter and align. The colors we will basically change later in the rendering part. But of course we can also say paste relative reference. So we always end up with a different kind of style. And the P scale as well. So we have a seed down here as well. So say paste relative reference. Cool. That is already a ton of variation, but what I also want to do in here, let's make this bigger again, is I just don't want to have those long sprinkles like those little tubes. I also want to have little spheres basically. So let's come in and put down the sphere here. We make it a polygon and say maybe like this. And I want the seed value to pick a random input for this copy to points. So I want to do a switch node in here, and I write in this, and in here this, and this goes into the copy to points. So now you can see the switch node has basically this little input selector here. And I want to drive this with our relative reference. So we paste our expression again. It's the fit range one of the random number. And now we need to say a 0 or a 1. Or let's say 1.5, because this this expression, or like the slider, will round our number accordingly. And whatever I select now here, you can see it will change the behavior of the copy to points node. Okay, but something is taking very long. Let's reduce it to maybe 2, and also reduce the overall scale of it. Yeah, like this. I think it's cool. And maybe I overdid it in here in the relax iterations. So let's go just to 2. So we have a bit of more uneven distribution in here, or maybe even just 1. Perfect. Cool. So now we pick randomly between those two numbers. Maybe I put 1, that should be fine, because whatever this number is closer to 1 or closer to 0, it will pick either or. So we make this a green as well. In here we have our new surface now, our new glazing, and the only thing we are left with is now our icing. And for the icing, I really want to adjust this mountain node here. So we just come in here and say paste relative reference, make it green, and we are good to go. We could also go in and adjust the colors of our icing. So we have 3 channels. So let's say in the first channel we say we put in our expression. It's the random number. We really want to put it between 0 and 1. And this one we're going to copy. We put it in here as well. And for this random number, we want to add some variation in here. So like each of the number is different. So we say a plus. So you want to make sure that you put this number in those inner bracket where we reference our seed. We add a number to it. This new number will basically generate a new random number, and this random number is going to be mapped between this and this value. We would actually not need to map it at all. We just need to generate a random number. Just thinking about it like this. It's also doing the trick. Yeah, perfect. Cool. So now we always pick a random number in here. So whatever we're going to select as a seed, it will generate a new number. I will just copy and paste the same node down here and change our values in here as well. 12, and maybe here we say like this. Okay. Making this green as well, and this one here, highlight this, and we have a completely new donut. And to completely bulletproof test this, we can come in change the seed. Okay, the remeshing takes now a little bit of time, but you see we end up having different kinds of donuts each and every time we're going to move the slider here. For my taste, it's just in a lot of the times we will end up seeing those little spheres and not our sprinkles anymore. There they are. So yeah, I just really need to make sure that this is quite evenly distributed. Cool. Now we can start and set up rendering this kind of things. Just as a little on top thing, so let's say I put on a circle, and the circle is facing, of course, the upwards area like this, and I will scatter some points in here. Let's see, some small number, maybe 5. And those points I want to copy my donuts to. So copy to points. And if I do this, I will still end up having the same donut at every point. What I want to do now is that for each of those points, I will assign a new seed value, and this seed value is going to be sampled by this value here. So, and each donut that is then copied to a point with a different seed value will use this seed value instead and generate a completely new donut for each point. Okay, so the attribute adjust float. For now we just randomize the p-scale a little bit, because this is annoying me a little bit that we have such big donuts. So we have 0.5 and 0.35, just maybe 4. I have not so much variation for 5. Okay, slightly different. And now we also say attribute adjust integer, because we have a whole number as a seed. Works also with a float, but basically what we're going to say is randomly assign a number. And if you look here, we have this variant attribute. We can rename this to seed, and we have it in here. But still, all our donuts are the same. So what we need to do is we need to say for each point, and we put down this little loop here. We connect our points. We will copy to each point a donut that references the seed that comes in here. So let's put in a null and say this is our incoming point. Before that, I want to promote the attribute of the seed to be a detail. It's just something now for the expression that we're needing to put in. I like to use the detail, and I don't want to promote the average, but the maximum value. So if I highlight this and I come in here and go to the detail attribute, of course I need to specify which kind of attribute it is, the seed, and you see the number 7 is promoted. So now we want to take this null here, incoming point, that is basically understood by this kind of seed. So in here we put in detail, open the brackets, say slash incoming point, comma, then the attribute we want to sample, which is seed, and then we need to put in number, just so the expression can be understood. Put in the 0, it's like basically the first, because we are dealing with an integer, the 0 is enough. Unselected, and we have a 0 in here. Where that. So we can copy the points, we put in this, and we highlight now our last node. Fingers crossed, I hope it's not crashing. What did I do wrong? It is called seed. Copy the points, yes. Detail attribute. I have a feeling that I didn't need to put this marker there. So now you see Houdini is doing its job. It's calculating. It can take a little bit because we really cranked up those remeshing settings. So yeah, let's just wait a couple of seconds and I will be back once this is done. Cool. And here you see all our donut variations, and indeed we have a lot of bias towards those different kind of sprinkles here. So I would basically revisit first of all the scatter node here. The total count I put back to 1000, and in here I put the 0.8 maybe. Put down this value a bit closer to 0.5. That in the most cases the sprinkles are picked with the line shape. So let's see how this goes. Just takes a bit. What you could do is you just push the slider once and save out the geometry. What we do now is basically generate 5 donuts at the same time. And yeah, here you go. Now we have at least one with sprinkles. Just thinking about it, we could also rotate our pattern, because these two, they look very, very similar. So maybe we also revisit this mountain up here, and we will give, okay, so we get this and say plus. So this might change now a bit our distribution, and we will also put an expression in the amplitude, so it changes accordingly as well. Yeah, so the amplitude is here. Okay, I just copied the wrong number, so let's take this one, put it in here as well, and now we just need to change something that makes sense in the amplitude. I think it was 2 and up to, let's say 4. Waiting for the calculation. Yeah, cool. Having different kind of patterns for our donuts. They look quite similar, I might say. Is there any chance that 2 points got the same seed value? So we can say value between 0 and 10,000 to make it even more random. We wait again. No, we don't wait. We need to highlight the right node and then we wait. And there you go. Now they are fundamentally different. We have a lot of sprinkles, more sprinkles than those little things. Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. And in the next one, we will handle the rendering. I hope you liked it, and I hope a lot of those techniques you can put to work into your own projects.